if you are a Zimbabwean and who has Zimbabwe at heart, now is the time to show it. These cars, it's not like somebody doesn't have another one already. No, now they are just topping it up to show you that I can. You understand? So we need to conscientize our people that no, individualism doesn't work. When we come together and we contribute from a family level, because there's so much family politics when it comes to Zimbabweans. From a family level, we need to squabble, put aside all our differences. That, okay, you go to Roman Catholic and I go to another church.
From the heart of Zimbabwe to the nations of the world, voices are rising. Stories of resilience, stories of vision, stories of purpose. Welcome to the Voice Amplified podcast, where Zimbabwean excellence is celebrated, leaders are empowered, and destinies are awakened. This is more than a podcast. This is a continental movement.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode on the Voice Amplified podcast. Nastatsikwa. The Great Zimbabwe Initiative. They're based here in South Africa. So welcome, Mr. Kumbi.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here. And thank you for having us today.
In a nutshell, can you tell us what's the initiative about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps I can give people a little bit about myself and my background, if that's okay.
Yes.
So Kumbirai Chikuruwo is from Dande, Mzarabani. That's where I'm from. But I grew up I was born and raised in Harare. And then I went to school at Tongogara High School, which is in Shurugwi.
Yeah.
And then I did my university at the University of Zimbabwe, where I completed my BSc honors in political administration. So after that, I just had the passion to be an entrepreneur and to create stuff that benefits the greater picture of people other than myself. So fast forward, I moved to South Africa, where I started my business, which I currently run, and other ventures that I'm also affiliated with.
Okay, so you talked about your main career, which was it was what, political science?
Yeah, political administration.
Administration.
Yes.
Then you ended up choosing to become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
All right. When did that happen?
It wasn't really by choice, to be honest.
Okay.
I think first and foremost, as a believer, I believe that God had a purpose.
Oh, you're a Christian.
Yeah. He needed me to understand how to lead people, how to guide people in the right path, and how to create opportunities for people. Because even with the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, which we are going to be diving into today, it's not something I would have been able to do if I didn't have a background of building something from ground up and employing people and having a connection of that leader and servant relationship, just like we have with Christ. So I think that was very crucial for me to be able to do that initially.
So your belief is at the center of most of the stuff that you do. Would you like your faith, basically?
Christ is the center of everything. You know, in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 15, he says that when he was writing this is Paul writing to his son in the faith, Timothy. He says, if I am delayed, I'm writing this to you so that people can know how to conduct themselves in the church, which is the body of Christ. And he says the church, which is the pillar and foundation of truth. So truth is not subjective. Truth, there's one truth, and that's Jesus Christ. And everything that we do stems from that. So at the center of everything that we do, whether be it business, whether be it initiatives such as this, at the center of it is Christ.
GZI.
Yeah.
What prompted you to start the initiative?
Okay. So the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, in recent years, as I was growing in the faith, I take time, I read the Bible throughout the year, but each year there's 1 month that I take specifically to stop everything and I just read the word. I stop business, I stop interactions with anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not on my phone, I'm not even with my wife. I'm just actually putting out my life to understand more about the word. So it came to me as a vision when I was reading the book of Nehemiah, where Nehemiah got the he was speaking to the brothers that had come from, which was Jerusalem that time. And Jerusalem had been taken captive. So they were brothers who would then come to Babylon and then give reports of what was the current situation. And which is sort of like how we are, when we are outside of your motherland, you're in captivity basically because you don't have the rights in that land. So Nehemiah asked in chapter 1, he asked, okay, how is the situation? They told him that the walls of Jerusalem have fallen. Everything has crumbled. And that touched his heart so much. And he prayed to the Lord, he fasted. And the Lord then said, okay, I'm going to grant you to be my prophet. I'm going to grant you to be a leader, to go back and rebuild the walls of Jerusalem.
I think I know the vibe of better than this man over here.
That's true.
Yeah, the story of Nehemiah.
You have to, that really stirred up something in my heart and in my spirit to say, okay, the building of the collapsed walls of Jerusalem. We can sort of like have a parallel equivalent of it with the rebuilding of the Great Zimbabwe as a nation. So that's where the passion stems from. To see the people of Zimbabwe who are very educated, by the way, the people who are very humble, articulate, people that are very intelligent, that in most high places around the globe, you find Zimbabweans. But Zimbabwe itself as a nation is just something
all
else.
over.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's where the passion is. That's where the passion came from. So we then saw that, okay, what is the gap? And I'll start with the research that we did. Recent research, for example, it shows that in 2025, Zimbabweans in the diaspora in remittances sent back $2.73 billion US dollars back home.
Wow.
$2.73 billion
And that
US
is
dollars.
the one that's accounted for.
That is the one that is accounted for. Yeah, obviously with proper structures such as Mama Money and Mukuru Pay and things like that. But imagine, I know a lot of people that can just give maybe a truck driver money and say, oh, go and give so and so. Or I know a bus driver. Oh, my friend is going home. Here's some money. Go and give my parents.
Yeah.
That's unaccounted for. We are just talking about the one that they could trace. With the paper trail, 2.7 billion. Then we looked at the whole national budget for 2025. It was 7.5 billion. So the 2.73 billion that was sent by Zimbabweans outside of Zimbabwe is 33.4% of the whole entire budget of the nation. Do you understand?
And we're still talking about the one that's accounted for.
And we're still talking about the one that is accounted for. And out of that, of the 2.47 billion.
Yes.
Out of that, in the remittances, all of it, about 60% of it is just being sent for eating.
Groceries.
It's not for anything productive.
Yeah.
I mean, the money, so that removes the question to say, is the money there in the diaspora? I guarantee you, money is there in the diaspora.
A lot of it.
And the records are showing. But then the question becomes, why is it that people are not contributing the same money into something productive that can then be recurring and actually be profitable
for the people,
for the
people,
nation, for the people of the nation, and to the gross GDP of the nation.
Yeah.
So this is the problem that we are solving for. That money is there in the diaspora, but there are circumstances and attributing factors towards this that are making people to hold back.
So to be hesitant.
100%.
So maybe if I may ask Koba Peter, maybe to give us two of the reasons that you probably suspect that are causing people to be hesitant when it comes to, because I'm sure this is not the first time something like this has happened. In a certain way, people have tried to unify Zimbabweans. So what is at the center of it all that's causing people not to unite for a good purpose?
Look, when we are here in diaspora, we are far from home. You cannot always go home, do things for yourself. You need people on the ground to do that for you.
Yes.
But we don't have such people who are trustworthy enough to give money to do a project for you.
100%.
We don't have. You see, everyone is a criminal. Whenever you give them money, they're doing it for themselves. All right.
Yeah.
For a good example, run a company when you're at this side. You just actually just elevated them to run their own company with your money,
With your capital.
right? So trust is something that is lacking between
Trust
us
is at the
as
center.
Zimbabweans.
Yes.
Yes.
So would you say the same thing? Would you say trust is at
Well,
the center?
definitely. Among the other factors, trust is the biggest. Trust in the politics of the day.
Yes.
That people sort of lost trust in the political systems and the regimes. And I'm not saying that as an attack on any political system, but I'm saying it as a fact, as a matter of fact, that people just sort of, for some reason, we understand what our country went through, 2008, 2009, and people lost trust in the system.
Yes.
So trust in the system. Number two, trust in their fellow family members themselves. Because when we were doing our research, we saw that people would say, no, I want to build a house. I'm in England. I'm in the UK. I want to build a house back home, but I'm not going to send my young brother John this money.
Exactly.
Because he's going to send me fake photos of things that are not existent. And by the time I go back there after 7 years, we actually have cases where somebody was sending money back home to his young brother. And 7 years passed. When he went back home, there was nothing. You understand? So it's lack of trust in those two areas and a lack of trust in the service delivery.
On the service
as well.
delivery. Yeah.
Not on the government side, but on the service providers that are in the country. Because like he said earlier on, he rightfully put it, that we are far from home. You can't be traveling back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously when you want maybe builders, you're going to look for recommendations.
Exactly.
And people sometimes can recommend not on the basis of actually someone being able to do the work, but because I just know them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they don't do justice after having paid your hard-earned money. So those are, when it comes to trust, those are the fundamentals. And then other reasons that are outside of that.
Yeah.
You will find that in any nation where the knowledge of the Lord is not prevalent, nothing becomes successful. In any nation where the knowledge of the word, I was here in chapter 1. I know many people are usually caught chapter 4 when it gets to verse 6, when he says that my people are perishing for the lack of knowledge. But they don't read where it starts. Chapter 4 verse 1 of Hosea says, listen to this word, the children of Israel. The Lord is bringing a charge against you. And what are those charges? He says, number 1, there is no truth. Number 2, there is no mercy. Number 3, there is no knowledge of God in the land. So therefore, in the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, we have a sector. Actually, let me digress into how the whole framework works. So it works in 3 phases. Phase number 1, it is called the Zimbabwe Gospel Fund. So the Zimbabwe Gospel Fund is where we identify, we train, we recruit, and we send out ministers of the word of God. Because like I said, at the center of everything, people must have the knowledge of God. Without the knowledge of God, people are perishing.
You sound so sure, but isn't it the same strategy that was used by the colonial system? They would send...
100%. And where did they become successful? Tell me, yes or no?
Yeah, they become successful.
Exactly
Yeah,
the point.
Successful.
That's the point.
So it's taming the...
It
Because
becomes
within the African context,
Yeah,
I would say within the African context, yes, that's what we would love to believe. But somebody might say, let's give India for an example. Let's give China for an example. They are not Christians. They are not word-based like you are suggesting. So because also I'm sure we also have to be careful. In as much as we believe that Christianity in Christ is outrightly the savior. Remember, in our country, we've got people with different beliefs. So how are you going to deal with that?
okay. So that is not an issue at all.
Okay.
It's like saying, for example, how many accidents that I've seen up to this age that I've lived. Many accidents. Does that stop me from wanting to buy a very good car? No. I'll still buy it. So the fact that other people don't believe in our faith, that is not the problem that can hinder
But
us.
already with it, because it seems like I'm fighting faith, but
No, I get you. I understand.
But I want people to understand that, okay, the reason why you're putting Christ, but also give the aside, because there's a person who is thinking like I am doing right now,
True.
to say, okay, the church fraternity on its own is biased right now. Remember, we were talking about some other things earlier on. It's generally biased,
And it's because there's no knowledge of truth. The people who are saying that they are believers, people who are presenting the gospel to other people, they are not teaching the gospel of Christ crucified. In Acts, the apostles said, when they were threatened and they were put under pressure, they said, it is written that daily they ceased not to preach this gospel, that Christ died for us. This is the message of the cross that we must take. And 1 Corinthians says that let me put it in Shona. Shoko romuchinjikwa upenzi kune vanoparadzwa, asi kwatiri vanoponeswa isimba raMwari. Nokuti zvakanyorwa zvichinzi, ndichakonesa uchenjeri hwavakachenjera, ndichatadzisa kuziva kwavanoziva. Robva razoenda richiti, ko munyori uripiko, ko muiti wenharo wenyika ino uripiko. Nyika neuchenjeri hwayo zvaisina kugona kuziva Mwari, Mwari vakafadzwa nazvo kuti vanotenda avaponese. So kune vanotenda, we are saying this is the one opportunity that everybody around the world has got to use this model that we've created. Fund the actual doctrine, the true doctrine, because of circumstances that many people are going through in Zim. This is why they are believing in every Tom, Dick, and Harry, because they don't have anything to hold that is substantial. So the Great Zimbabwe Initiative is coming to challenge that and establish the real pillar, identifying and training people. You see, when it comes to matters of the gospel, let's start with matters of the flesh of our bodies. A person goes to study to be a doctor of your flesh for more than 7 years. Because they are going to do community service after 7 years in school, and after that they're going to do house service, and they are under training. After that, they still go before they become a doctor with their own practice. It's about 11 years that they take, and this is just to do with issues of the flesh. But when it comes to matters of the spirit, someone will just say, I was called by God today, tomorrow they open a church. There's no such thing. People have to be trained. The doctrine, when you speak about why the doctrine is there, Paul writes, he says, the doctrine is profit. All doctrine is inspired by the Spirit of God. And it is profitable for teaching. That's what he says. That's one of the things. So we must teach.
The reason why I want to sort of scrutinize and try to get an in-depth of this type of approach. Our community has been wounded by the same or a similar approach, because the preachers that are there today, they were doing almost the same thing and then end up, changing their ways later on. So people do not really trust anything that's going to come from that perspective.
So let me shed light on the other two sides of the Great Zimbabwe Initiative.
Yeah.
So I was still describing about the one pillar, which is the Zimbabwe Gospel Fund or the Zimbabwe Gospel Project. Right. The second aspect of it is the investment projects, where we realize that back home, there's a lot of people that have resources such as land, for example. And on that land, they are only using substantial land for their own day-to-day living.
Yeah.
However, the rest of the land is not being used for anything. So, and in the diaspora, there are people who want to engage in projects, but they don't have the land, they don't know where to start because they've been far detached from home. What we are going to do is to connect those people who are already on the ground. Not someone who is saying, I want to do... No. Identified people who are already... Let's say, for example, someone is doing a poultry project of 4,000 beds. And we can see that this person, they still have a land and capacity to get from 4,000 to 16,000.
10,000, yeah, 16,000.
And there is already proof that they are doing it. Then we say, okay, guys, on live on air, this is someone who is doing this project. They could do so and so. A market is not the problem for them, but the capacity to expand,
That's the problem.
that is the problem. Is there anyone out there who wants to invest in this person? And we have project managers, we have portfolios that we will build for these people, and we upload them on our system. And people are able to see that, okay, there's a project in Mtare, in this area, in this village. This is what it is, how much is required, and I can put this much. And this is the return on investment after a period of 8, 6, or whatever time frame might be. So that is the second leg of the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, which is the investment projects. The third leg is the community-based projects. These ones, they are non-profit. We will say, okay, bro, you come from Zaka. We identify that, okay, in Zaka. And it's not only us who are going to be identifying. People also in their communities can have access to the portal and upload to say, guys, our kids are still traveling 20 kilometers to go to a primary school. When it rains, they have to cross the rivers. They are not able to do it. Then we go and assess on the ground. Then we say, once again, these days there's social media. You know, we can't lie about that. Go live on social media, show people, take footages. Show the people, guys, this is how much these kids in this village have to travel. However, we could just build blocks here and engage with the local government, which is the municipality, and say we want permits to be able to build a school here. We want permits to be able to build a bridge here so that the kids can cross. And then we take it upon ourselves to actually do the research to find how much is needed. And when we do such, we employ people in that particular community. They make, people in communal land, they make bricks. So you find that at the end of the day, how much they need is probably just for cement. You understand?
Yeah.
Then we engage with the community. And this is based on the community-based approach of building societies that was purported by Thomas Sankara. And that's what they're using today in Burkina Faso.
You gave an example of Ethiopia earlier on.
Yeah, and that's part of for the examples. Ethiopia, they built the Africa's largest dam, which is the African Renaissance Dam. And that was built off of the money that is the Ethiopians in the diaspora contributed back home. And if we look at 2005 case studies, it shows that Filipino women who were working as domestic workers in America contributed about 2 to 5% of their GDP back in the Philippines.
Imagine, we were just talking about money. Domestic workers.
And they are just domestic workers. What about us? We could do those things.
Yes.
But the GZI bottom line is that it is now the accountability framework. And like I said, on the portal, we haven't launched yet because we're trying to do a lot of background checks to check if it's going to be safe, because a lot of money will be transacted on there. If it's going to be safe from cyber security. These days there's a lot of cyber attacks that happen. So those are the things that we're still working on. However, on the portal, you can go and literally check any place in Zimbabwe. Okay, if you are from Mtare, if you are from Mondoro, if you are from Shurugwi, you can go on the portal and check. Not only that, you can go on the portal and upload your CV and your area that you are in. So that when any project is happening in that area, you are the first people to be recruited.
This sounds very, very big. Have you patented this? Because now, with you coming here live on a podcast, all these things happen, man.
I understand.
Are you sure your idea is safe?
Yes, this is a great idea.
Yeah. But
to be honest with you, even in business, right?
Yes.
There's people that I employed over the number of years. And out of those people, about maybe 10% of the people I've ever employed and trained went out and started businesses exactly as mine. And they're successful at it. Am I heartbroken? No. I'm happy that I'm able to give birth to life. So if somebody else takes this vision and does it in one way, shape, or form, then I'm happy that it has been done. You see, the pulling down syndrome that is among Zimbabweans is the problem we need to get rid of.
Yeah.
We don't.
That's
If
a huge
someone
topic.
munhu akawana pane hupfu atombodi kuti umwe munhu apazive. Why not?
On Zimbabweans, we're told, we're told kuti umbimbindo unobhadhara. Andozvona manje ndo zvinotisvitsa ipapa zvokuti chero ukaona chinhu chinobenefita your community, you can't share. Unotoda kuti vese vange vachiuya vachitenga kwauri, iwe ndo unobenefita wega ende ndo watombinga muareas. Andozvona manje ukazotanga kuchiita whatever zvaunozoita after that kwakutotsvaga kuratidza vanhu pawa rako ende kutsvaga futi zvakawanda kubva muvanhu.
So, remember, I want to reconnect what we were talking about, what you said earlier on when you talked about trust, trust being at the center of it. I think it is very important for us to, as Zimbabweans, especially in the diaspora, to maybe it's important for us to start relying on each other, because with the skill set that we have, as diasporians, I'm sure we can. Jews, they've got this thing that they call fakit, where they help a brother out, till that brother is successful, then go to the next, then they go to the next. Remember that other episode that we were talking about how Muslims do it, how those guys from Ethiopia and all that are
Nigerians.
doing it. Nigerians are doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it's high time that we realize as Zimbabweans that we can do the same thing, and without jealousy towards people like Kumbi here, because there's somebody who is going to listen to the whole idea and think to themselves, probably I'm richer than Kumbi. Probably I can pay these 6-7 guys to do this in a better way. Probably I can do this in like 2 weeks, instead of just saying, okay, you have come up with a great vision. Kumbi has come up with a great vision. Let's just protect. Let's just finance. Let's do more research. Let's even highlight to him to say, maybe you need to check 1, 2, 3 because you might face these types of problems.
100%.
So I'm 110% sure. I'm very certain that if this becomes a success, we are going to be a threat to many economies, because it will be a very big portal for people to transact and build their wealth around.
100%.
I mean, you were talking about people submitting their CVs, and
of course,
already it's employment.
What surprised me is this one. Such an initiative, as Zimbabweans, we don't trust it. But the likes of this small company that are sending money, they just come today. They tell us, no, we're sending money back home. We are quick to jump into the portal.
Just like that. You understand? Just like that. No background checks. You don't even know the owner. You don't know who's behind it. No benefits to you whatsoever. If anything, they actually take a commission when you send. Which is something we're going to help people through our portal and how we are positioned legal-wise. When you actually send that money, most of it, you are going to get, for example, if you're here in South Africa, you will get tax rebates on it. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are some of the things that people are going to benefit out of this. So it's a well thought out thing that we've been working on so much to ensure.
But I can't wait to be part of the whole initiative, bro. Because 100%. I mean, like right now, I'm super excited.
This is a huge initiative, and if we are really mean it, that we love Zimbabwe. Everyone must jump in.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, with this initiative on the ground, we want to remove, even with the agenda that they have as the government right now, the agenda says that the country is built by its owners. And I stand by that. And Muammar Colonel Gaddafi, I love reading books a lot. So I read a book by him, The Green Book. In that book, he speaks about the problem of politics. And he says, someone, because of multi-parties, someone can just say, I'm not going to support this because they belong to this set and they belong to that set. You understand? But we are saying, all that we are putting it aside. If you are a Zimbabwean and who has Zimbabwe at heart, now is the time to show it. And this is the clear-cut structure where anybody has a dashboard. Literally, you see like how you can log into your Facebook.
Yes.
And you are able to see how many people sent you requests and all that. On our platform, somebody can be able to log in and see on their dashboard how their investments are performing, how anything that has to do with what they are interested in is doing.
So, okay. Like what we were saying earlier on before we come before
we started recording,
you were saying a lot of builders, they're losing income because people are no longer trusting them.
That is true.
So on this platform, do you have a platform for the builders so that they go there? Because you remember, we need people that are trustworthy.
That's what we're saying. So other than CVs, companies can upload their portfolios as well.
Okay.
So individuals upload their CVs, companies upload their portfolios.
Okay.
And they also upload the area that they are in.
Yes.
We are not going to take people in Mutare to go and develop in Bulawayo. Why? When we have people in Bulawayo.
Yes.
You understand? This is what attributes to the unequal distribution of resources.
Exactly.
We need resources to be distributed equally. And the greatest resource there is human resource. And the Zimbabweans are plenty. And they have got the funds and they are where they are.
So I think, you see, the reason why these wealthy people are not jumping in to help people, we don't have a platform like this.
Yeah, we don't have a system
where the system is open and trustworthy.
Yes.
Where you can see, right? And if we are on our platform, if you mess around, we know where to get you.
You understand? There is verifications.
Yes.
And it will even show that these are verified people, suppliers, maybe for this and that. It will show you.
Okay, so how are you going to evade the tender system? Because in as much as you talked about the companies are supposed to be from their area of influence.
Yes.
So how are you going to avoid, let's say, I don't want to say corruption, but yeah, it's going to be corruption where, you've got different individuals who register companies all over or who find ways to have some influence in more than 5 to 10 places. Do you have a system in place to help you avoid such scenarios where we'll end up seeing that guy is from Harare and now he's driving this Rolls Royce and only to find out that through the portal they had 10, 15 companies that were established around the country with bigger profiles, and it was very easy for them to then get the tender if they be
that's a very important question. It's a very valid question. So in order to address that, other than the governance board that we have in the Great Zimbabwe Initiative as an entity, we also have independent auditors, auditing firms that are able to audit independent of the activities that are happening within. On the organogram, on top of it, there is a separate governance board that does not handle the day-to-day activities. They are just there to govern the institution and ensure that it is happening the way that is independent of corruption, independent of affiliation that is political or favoritism, no nepotism. So it's not based off of, this one, Dimera Moyo Saga. No.
Yeah.
So it's not I am just the face representing the institution at this present time, but it's not just me. And most of the decision making is not only even me. You understand?
Yes.
So yeah, I think
already I'm loving the whole approach because umpimpi ndoga unoti kanganisa I think it's high time people realize that if we want to go far, we join hands. And Dipane statement
there's an adage, yeah.
It's fine. Kwanzi, if you want to go fast,
go alone.
Yeah. Then if you want to go further, then
go with others.
Yeah, go with others.
That is true.
Then I've got another question.
True.
What challenges are you facing right now that you may say, okay, these are the reasons why probably we haven't really launched up besides the research thing that you're still doing?
Yeah. So one of the other challenges I would say is to get people to engage as we are building the governance structure.
Okay.
We do have individuals already that are on board, but it's not up to the number that we want. So that we have people in different backgrounds, from different backgrounds, in different places. Currently, we have people that are affiliated with the European Union, and like I said, they're in the agricultural department spaces. We have others that are in asset management with big entities such as PwC, and they are people that have seen the vision and they came, but we want more. People who are like engineers, architects, people with different visions, and so that when decisions are made, it's not only, for example, if we have only people from a finance background, then it's going to be from a lens of the finance aspect. But we need people from various backgrounds, you understand, so that on the board is balanced. And when a decision passes, it has been thought through from different perspectives and angles. So I think at the moment that is the challenge that we have, just to be able to engage with these people. The other challenge that we have, obviously, we want to be able to travel to different areas and spaces. Like I said, I had to travel to Ethiopia, I've traveled to Zambia, I've traveled to, different countries just to see and analyze how we can best execute this. And I saw that we can execute it. However, we need to conscientize the Zimbabweans. There is a separate training that has to happen to Zimbabweans to put down the "it's me" thing.
You were talking about trauma response.
Earlier on, before we started recording, I was telling him about the traumatic response that most Zimbabweans have towards riches or poverty. Why? Because most of the Zimbabweans grew up in environments that are bad. You understand? And that mentality never left them, even if they became successful. So now when they get to a point where they are successful and they can actually contribute meaningfully to where they came from, they're just like, no, people must see my house. That's this. I went to school, I'm the one. And whereas you could have, where you could even have drilled a bowl that's going to benefit beneficiaries, 400 beneficiaries. You would rather buy one car that benefits you and your family.
Yeah.
And these cars, it's not like somebody doesn't have another one already. No. Now they are just topping it up to show you that I can. You understand? So we need to conscientize our people that no, individualism doesn't work. When we come together and we contribute from a family level, because there's so much family politics when it comes to Zimbabweans. From a family level, we need to squabble or put aside all our differences. That, okay, you go to Roman Catholic and I go to another church, to a Pentecost. Already people don't. Now, this one is saying, I believe in this. You go to SDA, so we can't do this. No.
Bro, sorry to catch you there. But now you're saying we should put all these things aside. But earlier on, we were talking about the importance of putting Christ at the center of it all.
That's part of the conscientization.
Oh, it's part of the conscientization.
But look, to jump into that, look, we all believers.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
And Zimbabwe is a Christian nation.
Yes. So regardless of whom you believe in, but we're all believers.
Christian Zimbabwe. It's a down there.
Our country is
the face that we want to
it's a Christian
present
nation.
is we are Christians.
Yes.
But talking about the real Christianity, and I'm sure we are still far from.
That is why we are having most of the problems that we have.
Yeah.
Because people are not knowledgeable about the real Christianity.
Hence the conscientizing.
You understand? The believer must know who he is in Christ. When we were growing up, we believed in other superstitious things that now, after having read the Bible, I look at myself and I'm like, no, man. Why? Most of the people in Zim, can you tell someone that now you can't go back to the village where you came from because there's so much witchcraft? And yet you want to tell that same person that the Spirit of Christ lives inside of you. So which one is more powerful? You understand? And someone on the pulpit is telling that same person that don't go back to your village. Right. So now when you are separated and yet you are the one who has now access to resources, how are you going to develop? You are never going to do it. So that's the war we want to bring down by the Zim Gospel Fund, where we train people in the right way so they can now go and teach people the right things.
Yeah. All right. In a nutshell, can you just break down the approach in the simplest of terms, especially to the diasporians? Because this system,
it must benefit the diaspora much than the locals, because the diaspora is true affect. We are not able to develop home because background.
Saka ndoda a short summary.
Yes.
Look, in Africa, Zimbabwe is now the best steel producer. Many people in the diaspora don't know this, but it's public information.
Yes.
Zimbabwe is the best. Lithium is now being exported not as a primary resource, but as a secondary, meaning to say it has been processed.
It's major,
It's a major milestone. That's number 2. 3, Zimbabwe is now steadily becoming the largest gold exporter, processed gold in Africa. These are real facts.
Yeah.
And yet, somebody who left Zim in 2010 or before and hasn't gone back still has that picture
of back then.
Things have changed dramatically. The politics of the day has even changed. Doesn't mean that people are going to agree with everything. But one thing we can all agree on is that we need to develop our country ourselves.
Our country must always come first.
It must come first. It's like putting your family first. There shouldn't be a case where I say, just because I'm respect.
No way.
Family first. That's the kind of heart we need to have. And Nigerians, for example, are very good at showing this. Man, Nigerians, wherever they are going to look for where jollof is sold.
Exactly.
And go to pay the fellow Nigerian for making that jollof for them. Us, we
can buy sadza.
We even to teach our kids Shona. We look at it as it's an archaic thing. It's a thing of the past. No, they need to be taught.
Yeah.
Because that's part of their identity. That's who they are. Just because you move to a certain environment doesn't mean that you lose who you are.
Yeah.
So patriotism is a spirit that needs to be taught into people. Zimbabweans also don't love themselves, man.
Yeah,
they always, wherever they are most of the time, that's where you then find them speaking about exposure and things. Now they have tongue piercings. Me, when I was growing up, would know that even just for a woman to wear pants was an abomination in the time I was young. And that was a common knowledge. And everybody adhered to that. And once people went out and came back, they brought back these things. And when you look at the story of the Israelites, God wanted to use Israel as a model country. And he said, when you go there to the land I'm going to give you, don't adopt other foreign things and try to make them part of you. No, actually, those foreign people are supposed to adopt to you and what you grew up in. Man, our kids in our generation, almost every name has got God in it. Kudzaishe, Tapiwanashe, Simbarashe. That's how solid we were in the word. You understand? This is something that cannot be lost. That value system is very important. So with the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, not only are we creating opportunities for the people back home, we're creating opportunities for Zimbabweans in the great diaspora to contribute meaningfully outside of the politics of the day. This is an apolitical entity where you just contribute directly in these 3 ways. If you don't want to contribute to the Zim Gospel Fund, you can contribute to the community development projects.
Yes.
That does no one any harm to build a bore for your people, to build mini solar stations that will power a village with 400 people. People have the money to do it. If you don't want something that doesn't give you that doesn't give you profit back, you invest in the investment projects. Where you can see after a period of time, this is the return on investment I'm going to get. Right now in Ghana, there is a project that they are running called the Grow For Me Fund. You know what they are doing? They identify land and farmers, and they have opened it for the Ghanaians. It's even open for anyone, even if you are not Ghanaian, where you can send money and say, I want to grow 10 hectares of wheat. They will look for 10 hectares. And then they say, okay, we found the 10 hectares. This is the owner. This is the machinery he has. This is what he needs. This is how much we need for the inputs. And this is how much you're going to get back. And anyone, anywhere in the world can send money to that portal. And the people farm for them. They take a commission because they did the work. And then he gets his return after the end of the season. We were, as Zimbabwe, the bread basket. Wow. So the fact that we have land is out of the question. Right now, Zimbabwe is the greatest blueberry producer in Africa.
Yeah, I only discovered that recently.
You understand? Yeah. These are facts that people don't know. And we are saying, no, we can do it. The only difference is that, like people who think that, oh no, we need to bring back other farmers who were sent out. No. That is backward thinking. We need to have a forward mindset. What can we do? What can we contribute? Okay, let's contribute and let's see the results.
Okay, before I forgot something.
Yes.
I think you must let people know that this effort nothing to do with the politics.
100%.
This effort totally nothing to do with the politics. Whether we are from this part, you're a Zimbabwean.
You are a Zimbabwean first.
Before you join the party, you were a Zimbabwean.
100%.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Zimbabweans is for Zimbabweans, and it's our responsibility.
Yeah,
take it up on our shoulders. We shouldn't be people. You know, in Rwanda, they have a policy that every Saturday, everyone goes out to clean in a certain radius around their house. It's not a responsibility for them.
Yeah. Look how beautiful it is.
You understand? It's every Saturday you go out and you clean around, and your neighbor does the same. So if everybody does that, where is the dirt gonna be?
No.
You understand? This is actively and consciously deciding that let us do this. And this is what we're opening up to. So,
wow, Kumbi, I don't know where you came from. I don't know how they made you, but for sure you're made different.
No. That's a great vision that you are presenting right now.
Thank you very much.
Those vanenze vari kunzwa guys, nyatsoteereresai mukanyatsochiona in fact now chazo chiri polished and tell them chazo chiri polished, but it's the same thing that we have been trying to tell people, that we can actually come together, right, for one common goal.
Yeah. Yes.
To change Zimbabwe into something. Look, if we had to wait for the government, so most of them, they are failures. Right? Uchatema failures, but kuti wani mukana chete ukuenda patop paya. But that are my failures. But isusu as the people, yes, we can do this better than the government.
We can.
Yes. But what we can do, in this system yavari kutaura iyi ndopachesa zvese ipapo ndopanenge paine vanhu vanotifaitira kuti tiri kuno kuizvozoka ukafunga kuti unemba yako yaroda kuvaka iwewe company chapinda apa iri vetted handitika ende kana pachinge paine usiri sure iwewe unekwe kufona uchiingwa isusu patino ava pavanoenda vachindoda kunoona vachaona kuti vane kodzero here kuti vange vachitrustwa nevanhu vari diaspora uri kubritain uri kuamerica uri kuno kwatiri kunoku you cannot see what's going on back home
100%.
But this portfolio is going to work for you the way you never thought it will.
100%.
100%.
Let's support it, guys.
I think I've learned quite a lot. At first I was responding to what you were saying, because I was trying to understand. But when I really picked what you're trying to put out there, that's when I went, okay, let me listen to this. And I've learned quite a lot today. Maybe kune chandinogona kukumbira kuti muite right now before mabva Mr. Kumbi.
Yes.
Udzai vanhu vane shona. In as much as because chandakaona nekudzidza kwatakaita semaZimbabweans kune vanhu vanoterera kuti because vanzi vaterera but kuti vanhu vanzwisise. You know, this is as important as the Bitcoin. Anongozva pakatanga ya Bitcoin vanhu vachingonzi Bitcoin tega Bitcoin vakatozoita mari later iko zvinorara kudhura tichabatike. So this is a good investment and I'm sure daita tine ndandigona ndebele zviribo ndaibva ndatotaura nendebele netsonga nenonzi chimwe nendau.
So one thing chamunofanira kuziva ndechekuti as much tichinzi takadzidza semaZimbabweans problem yedu iri pakuti
I knew you were going to say that.
We listen to argue, not to understand.
That's true.
So in whatever, that's why you not talk about will show you. You see,
even in the comment section,
nonsense. Not because it's what I am sorrow.
Yeah, that is true. Very, very true.
I was going to for arguments. Chat.
It's social media. So, muri Zimbabwe, tina mukoma Kumbi. Mukoma Kumbi vanobva vane initiative inonzi Great Zimbabwe Initiative. Ndaikumbira mutererese because iyi message yakakosha. Tichange takanyarara titerere zvavari kutaura because uyu mukana unogona kuchinja life yako. Pauri ipapo sezvamakaona recently kuti nyika dzatiri dzidzasesi nyika dzedu. Izvi zvine chekuita nekumba kwenu. So I'll leave all the time to you, Mr. Kumbi, just to...
All right. Maita basa mkoma. Saka isusu tiri kuti vana veZimbabwe. Zvinodiwa kuti tivake nyika yedu zviriko. And ma examples ndo atachipa. Ekuti for example, right now, Zimbabwe ndo ya the largest steel manufacturer ma Africa mese. Zimbabwe ndo ya the best blueberry exporter ma Africa mese. Zimbabwe yeku exporter processed lithium ma Africa mese ndo nyika yekutanga kuzviita. Zimbabwe yakudzokera again to be the greatest gold exporter mu Africa mese. Zimbabwe was once the breadbasket of Africa. Hapana chinotitadzisa kudzokera ipapo and to surpass what once was. Saka tiri kutaura kuti Great Zimbabwe Initiative ine 3 phases tainoshanda nadzo. Phase yekutanga inenzi the Zimbabwe Gospel Project. Mu Zimbabwe Gospel Project zvatinoita ndezvekuti tino-identifya avo vane mudoko wokufambisa vhangeri nekuti nyika inofana kuve founded pashoko. Kuti zvimwe zvese zvatichavaka zvinge pasina umbimbindoga ungauzvitaura namadzikoma angu, pasina undyire, pasina kuzvifungira, asi pane kufungira nekumuita muono uri selfless. Saka tino-identifya vanhu, we recruit them, tovadzidzisa, then tova-empower nema-project ivo sevafundisi ekuti kwavanoenda vachinodzidzisa shoko vanokwanisazve kunotraina vanhu kuti ngatitewo ma-irrigation scheme, ngatitewo zvakati kuti nharaunda yavanenge vari inobva yavawo profitable and sustainable. Number 2, pane anenge achinzi ma-community-based projects. Aya haasi ekuti unoisa mari wobva wafunga kuti uchawana profit. Aiwa, aya ma-projects ekuti unofunga iwo kuti kwandakabva pamwe kune chikoro izvezvi hauzivi kuti kune ma-textbook here kana kuti hakuna. Saka isusu tinoisa zvikoro izvozvo pamaportal kokuti munhu kwawakabva uri kwauriko, whether it's Birmingham or you're in Sydney, Melbourne, wherever you are as a Zimbabwean, unokwanisa kuaccessa woona kuti no, let me contribute. Va-identify kuti kuchikoro kwandakaenda kuprimary kana kuti kuri kudzidza vana vangu kwakashota, hakuna mvura, kuri kudiwa mari yakati, ichabenefita pakati kuti vaite project yakati. Uchikwanisa kutresa ma-receipts ezvese zvinenge zvaitika paportal iyoyo and everything. Ndo community-based project. Toenda kuma-investment projects. Truda kudila primarily ne-agriculture sector. Kuti vanhu kurima, because Zimbabwe is an agronomy state, if for those who did not know. Zvazvinoreva ndezvekuti nyika yedu yakabatwa nekurima. Saka varimi variko kuZimbabwe already. vari kuita zvihombe nezvidiki asi havasi kuita to their full potential kwavanokwanisa kusvika. Koita vanhu isusu vari kudiaspora nemi vari kunditeerera mune shungu dzekurima kuZimbabwe asi dzimwe dzenguva hauna pekurimira, hauna land, hauna waunoziva uye hauna waunotemba. Isusu as the Great Zimbabwe Initiative, we're an institution for accountability and identifying, kutsvaga nzvimbo idzodzo nekukurakidzai sevanhu veZimbabwe kwese kwamuri. Mazuva ano kwaane social media hazvichanetsi. Woona kuti zveshuwa project iyi pari kuitwa zvehuku apa. Vari kutaura kuti ivo varoda $2,000 kuti project iende mberi. Ndikaisa $2,000 after 6 months ndichawana $100 back. Zvese zvinenge zviri paportal. Saka ndo ma-investment projects anenge aripo. Saka tapa mienzaniso yemaprojects akasiyana-siyana aitwa kunyika dzakasiyana-siyana. Tikatanga neBurkina Faso yavaiita yekufacilitata nekufanda agriculture, yekufanda kugadzirwa kwemarodi kuri kuitwa kuBurkina Faso right now. Saka vatungamiriri variko right now, Captain Ibrahim Traore, vakaappeala to the Burkinabe, which are the people from Burkina Faso, vari in the diaspora, kuti tiri kudawo kuti tireize mari tisaende kunokwereta kune dzimwe nyika kakune mamwe mabank vachida $224 million. Asi at the end vakatozoona kuti varegister $252 million. Mari yakadarika yavaida. Tikataura isusu tikati kuEthiopia right now kune inonzi African Renaissance Dam. I-community project yakupa vanhu millions and millions of Ethiopians electricity vanga vasina nenyaya yekuti the Ethiopians in the diaspora vakashanda together with the Ethiopian government vakaisa mari, dam rikavakwa rikapera rakutosupply electricity right now. Saka these are some of the things we are saying kuti Thomas Sankara akataura akati community approach to building an economy is the best. Saka tinotangira ku grassroot, hatitangiri padenga pekuti tinenge tichingotuka vari mucabinet nemaminister. Tinofanira kutangira in the communities, how we can best address the issues zviri kuitika mumacommunity atakabva nemacommunity achakurira the generations to come. Saka this is what we are presenting to you.
Okay. Muchiri papo.
Yes.
Vanzwa kuti kune matinozivi
Zimbabwe, the Great Zimbabwe Initiative.
The Great Zimbabwe Initiative.
Yes.
Vanhu vada kuitsvaga izvo zvikunotori nevamwe vachati tingoposta obva vatanga kutonzwa chidokwa dokwa vada kutoziva kuti ndepapi.
Yeah. Saka so far nenyaya sezvandataura mentioned earlier on that because of issues to do with the impact that we want to deal with and how we are doing it, which is digitally. We had to make sure that we do a lot of checks before we make the project to go live. For example, to prevent against cyber security, cyber terrorism. You know, if it's a channel that's going to flow money, people can hack and steal money, and we wanted to make sure that our platform is free from that. So right now, it's not yet live. However, they can join a waiting list. Anyone, anywhere in the world can join a waiting list so that when the project goes live, they will automatically receive messages on where it is and then be able to visit the portal. So what they can do, they can send a message to this phone number. I don't know if I can say it.
Yes.
All right. So I'll put the code for our South African code, which is +27 and then 71-648-3184. So it's +27 and then 71-648-3184. You can just send your name and surname and email address, and that's it.
Okay, I'm on a Facebook page.
I wanted to ask you about community.
So now that one have got nothing to do with my payments. They would want my updates.
Yeah, so we do have also a Facebook page. We do have an Instagram page, but because most of the things that we are going to be posting on those hadn't been done yet, that's why you can go there and you won't find as much information. But once you send a message to this WhatsApp, we're going to respond with the short information, a brief that explains, and then you will be automatically added to the waiting list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saka, do you pay for for the service, and do you have those figures yet? Is it going to be a free service or
so? For anybody to join on this platform, it's free of charge. There's no fee that is going to be charged at all. However, how we are going to sustain this is that obviously in the investment projects, you
Yes.
understand, where people are actually getting return out of it. Just like any other platform, we
Yes.
charge a commission fee for the admin of it.
Of which it won't be much. Of
It
course.
won't be much that we connected you. It could be anything from 2 to 5%.
From the heart of Zimbabwe.
This is a continental movement